Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Look, we got a
Good
bloody
morning.
house full almost. We've only just come on and everyone's here. Good morning. Welcome to another one of our Sunday mornings. It's probably the most popular little chat of the week that we have, to be honest. We get like quite big numbers on this. So thank you for tuning in and watching us. Listening to just really like some old geezers talking a lot of crap mostly, but we have a bit of a laugh. But yeah, it's Sunday the 26th. Is it? Yeah, 26th of April. Yesterday we played our penultimate game of the season and the last game of the season at St Andrews. Uh, what do we think of it, lads?
Good
On the,
performance.
Don't all talk at once. Pete, go on. Pete?
let Angus go first because
Oh,
obviously
Angus. Yeah,
All right.
actually, Angus, we'll let you speak because people always say, can Angus say something one day? But yeah, yeah. Go on, mate.
I thought it was a really good performance. And if
Yeah,
that's the shape of things to come, we're in a good place. And there's quite a
yeah,
few positives yesterday, wasn't there? We could have another couple of goals.
yeah,
Priska and Vincenti fitting in really well now, playing together. Can only get better.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I
What?
don't think we left it too late this season for the playoffs. So we hadn't had that blip in the middle of the season. We've been up there fighting.
Well, what did you think of the defensive display?
Pretty good. I think Newman should be back in there. When he's
Mm,
played alongside Clara, it's a different team.
yeah.
You know, not because he scored the goal, but if you look at the statistics, when them both played together, they've
Yeah,
won matches and they've lost.
yeah. I mean, I don't always sort of go with them statistics because you could say, like, just for instance, I may be a million miles wrong, but when Pake and Awata play together, we get better results than when Pake and, I don't know, play together. Do you know what I mean? There are another nine players in the team as well, and it depends who you're playing against. Of course, it does, but I get the point. What did you
It's
think of it, Pete?
right. So first of all, congratulations to our under 21 ladies for
Yeah.
well done,
And
girls.
I
silverware.
meant to say that as soon as I come on. You stole my thunder there. Absolutely brilliant girl. Second year on the trot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and could fingers crossed everything works out
Oh,
well for
today.
the ladies senior team today as well. Right. Yes. Well, you could say that was the week that was, wasn't it? So you go from shivering your doodahs off on Wednesday against Preston to basking in the sun yesterday, won both games, and there was so many positives to come out to there. For me, the biggest positive is winning the game. When is it not nice to win a game?
Yeah.
But apparently, as far as some are concerned, it doesn't matter, right? So I hear what some are saying that well, yeah, the ones that basically the ones who wanted Davis out at Christmas have you're never going to change their mind. Whatever was going to happen, the Derby performance
The one.
was poor and not acceptable. Now we could have gone two ways from there. The season's over. The players could have down tools, but they never.
Yeah.
They carried on. You've seen players not playing for a manager. You only got to look at Chelsea, or there. Those players are playing for they're playing for their manager.
Yeah.
Um, it's no surprise to me that as soon as we've got a presence up front in Prisk, it changes the whole dynamic of how we play. Um, and just because Prisk don't win every single ball, the fact that he's competing up there, making life uncomfortable for their defenders, it puts us on the front foot.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, it brings a
up
lot.
until
It
up
brings a lot of
until
other players into the game, doesn't it? So and to be honest, like Prisker actually wins an awful lot in the air. He does. I was
yeah,
looking at the numbers from the Preston game, and he won more aerial duels than anyone on the pitch. He's a strong lad. He doesn't take any crap. He's got a nice touch, but he takes focus away from the other forwards, doesn't he? if you haven't got a Prisk on the pitch and you got like 3 or 4 Vicente Stansfield sizes players, they're not as threatening in a way. And it gives us the opportunity to get forward faster, doesn't it? I mean, we
Well,
don't play the long ball and just hope. I mean, that ball to Priska is always good. He either holds it on his chest or he nods it on. I love him, I do.
yeah, the other side to it, Steve, as well, and it's no surprise to me that with sort of like Neumann being back in the fold there. You remember that game he played against Albion, and his passing was absolutely all over the place and everything. He, he ain't no Franz Beckenbauer, but what he is, he's a big, powerful bloke who can compete for the ball and defend. And when the ball's at his feet, if he's got someone up front like Priest, he's got someone to aim at. He's not looking you know, to do something that he's not comfortable with. Um, that's just my take on it, anyway. Because you look before we had that presence up front in Priest. We had the Duck who would never go for a challenge. You
Yeah,
can't expect Jay or Kyogo when he was about to win anything in
no.
the air, the sort of thing with their back to goal. The whole dynamic changes when you've got this presence up front. Now, I'm not saying that all of a sudden we can become this sort of like Wrexham long ball team because there's more to us than that.
No, we not. I mean, but that's not how we're playing anyway. I mean, we're not. Just because the ball goes long doesn't mean it's not a hit and hope with 5 at the back and you just hit the ball forward every time you get it. It's not that at all. I mean, we do look for Priska when we want to get up the pitch quickly, and he's good enough to get on the end of most things. It is a little bit of a mixture. I mean, playing the long ball occasionally is fine, but we do, I do still like to see, and we do play a lot of football, I think.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I think there's more to that kid than just a battering ram anyway,
Oh
and and
yeah,
and, and with time that will come. Um, I think things are very positive. All this stuff about oh well, it doesn't matter anymore. These same people saying that it don't matter. What do you want? What is the whole point of being supposed being a supporter of your team when you lose that thing of not caring if your team wins? What's it all about, Steve?
they're the same people though. If we lost those games, they'd say, he's lost the dressing room. That's it. Look at them; they just don't care now. Season's over. But if they win, there's always going to be a reason for it. There's always going to be a reason to complain. Yesterday's performance, I think, was really good. I think I did make the point in the week that Solis needed to come back in to give him a little bit more steel in the middle, and he did, and that's what happened. We looked a lot more, a lot tougher down the middle. When you've got like the Neumann and Clara pairing with Solis in front of them and Prisker in front of him, you've got a pretty good spine of the team there. They're all big lads and they can all handle themselves. I think Neumann. Against Preston, he was a bit sloppy a few times, and I thought, here we go, like he's creeping back into his game. But yesterday, he really tidied it up again. I think what he might have done is just got used to English football a little bit now, and he's starting to understand the way we play, and he's getting used to playing, 2 and 3 games a week, which he wasn't before. So for me, at the moment, it has to be Neumann and Clara. I think they played really well. But Bright Asai Samuel played well as well, didn't he, at right back? He's had a few good games, and he's getting up the pitch a little bit as well now. Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be an Ethan Laird, but while Laird isn't fully fit, Asai Samuel puts a bit of steel into the team. It's a hard one to choose between them two, and it depends on opposition, I think. If you're looking at a team that's going to come at you a lot, then Asai Samuel is probably your man. If you've got a team that's going to look a little bit, you're going to threaten a bit at home, then Laird. But I think what we've got over the last few weeks and what it's shown, and I think this is one of the big differences, is we've had a fairly steady team, haven't we? there hasn't been loads of changes, and it gives the players an opportunity to get used to each other, the way they play. It's a new style of playing now. All right, we didn't have Osman yesterday, but I think Dimi actually had quite a good game yesterday. Was really unlucky. Vicento's always got a bit of magic in him, hasn't he? I think that one when he hit the post was really good. When Prisk hit the post, it was a heartbreaker, wasn't it? I think everyone in the ground was willing that to go in. But then, an absolutely beautifully struck ball from Vicente on the edge of the box with the outside of his right foot. Do you remember that one? And
Uh,
then the keeper just turned it over. I mean, it was a beautiful bit of, it was all about technique. You could see the ball coming down and hit it on the half volley with the outside of his right foot. The ball just bent, and good save from the keeper. I think it was unlucky yesterday, and I think the only way they was going to score was from a penalty. Because although it was 2-1, and people are saying it was a bit like the Preston game, I don't think it was. I think we was much more in control yesterday.
Yeah, 100%.
and Bristol play some nice, pretty
Sorry, yeah,
football.
yeah. Oh, yeah, they're good side. Twine's a lovely player. Twine is a lovely player, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But they were playing in front of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the great, yeah, getting back to the Newman thing as well, is that sort of like for the last few games, he's been up against a big presence, and that's where he comes into his forte when he can battle. I mean, look at that Kiefer Moore. He never got a flipping
no,
looking, did he? And then they got that horrible bloke up front playing for Preston. I mean, you battling him. That's what the championship is, though, isn't it, Steve? I mean, we, the, more than half of that team have got big physical presence up front, and we need to be able to, A, first of all, combat it, and B, have that in our armory to give it some back. Don't let their big idiots at the back flipping have a freebie like they do when they're up against Mr. Ducks there.
yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think the thing that we're missing in the team is a physical presence, but and not now. It's much better now. The other thing that we are still missing now is that ball playing number 10. We could
Yeah,
just do with that, but that defense splitting pass sometimes, couldn't we? And
yeah,
with all the endeavour that Jay has, and I mean, Stansfield, you can't take nothing away from him. His running is incessant. I mean, that guy's battery is massive in it, and he's non-stop. But we just lack that little bit of, I don't know, Pete. You remember Peter Ward, Angus? Someone like that who can just pick the pass. And we haven't quite got that, have we? And I don't think Doyle was ever going to do that. To be honest, I think he plays a bit too deep, and I think he gets clattered a bit too easily.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. There's we are a work in progress, and somebody summed it up quite well yesterday. Like that, or I actually stopped for the players having a walk round and everything, and it's just lovely to see them out there with the families and that bit of a human touch there when you get Chrissy Davies getting dogs abuse on social media by people, and there he is with his daughters and family. There's a fucking human there, for God's sake. Um, what you saying that a lot of the people who give him shit on the Monday night on their talk shows and are all flipping slagging him off all the time will be the ones going up to him at the awards do flipping posing and asking him for a selfie, won't they? That's the
Yeah.
sort of people they are.
Uh, I think the
Um,
thing it's dead easy to jump on the bandwagon with that sort of thing. I mean, there's people like, I forget the guy's name, he's always like slagging them off. And then when they win and they do well, he disappears. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, doesn't matter. But there's a lot of people like that. But it's a dead easy thing to jump on that is, and let's get rid of the manager, let's get rid of the manager. When actually, if you look his record over the 2 seasons. It's been pretty good. There are a few things that encouraged me yesterday in terms of what I think the club might do. I think they're going to probably keep Chris Davis, although I do want to ask you something in a minute. Seeing Jeremy Dale's note yesterday well, it was, I seen it on Facebook. It was pretty much all over the social media when he made that statement, end of season kind of thing. I thought it was a really nice statement, but the actual feeling from that was I got from it was that Davis would be staying. Um, just by the way he was talking about how it takes time to progress and we've had a good season and all that. Um, but the thing that I'm not sure about because I didn't see it. Was the lap of honour at the end like a goodbye, Chris Davis, him running round on his own?
Um, he was apart from the players or whatever. I don't think it was
Did it come
it was
across as that?
it was that at all. I mean, is it a case of saying, oh well, yeah, because Neumann wasn't next to Clara when they were walking round that they don't like each other and they're going to go and have a fight
Yeah,
in the car?
yeah.
It
I
was
didn't see it. I'm just reading stuff on social media about it. He's gone. Goodbye. He's saying goodbye. I don't know.
I don't
yeah.
think so.
Oh no. Well, I'll have to come on to this because I know this whole thing on a Sunday morning was supposed to be about mental health and everything and that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, now it's my own fault. I'm, I'll hold my hands up. It's my fault that I get myself into a state by reading some stuff on social media, and I shouldn't. Easy thing to say, yeah, just ignore it. But I'm sure players and managers and everything read some of the shit that gets put out on there. So just say yesterday, for instance, there's Jeremy Dale puts out a a statement there, obviously praising the fans and everything. He ain't going to say in his statement, oh yeah, but I know we put in some absolutely diabolical performances away at Watford and Sheffield United, and you were all saying you're not fit to wear the shirt and telling the players to fuck off, um, he ain't going to say that. It's a bit of a PR thing anyway,
Yeah, of
and
course it is.
obviously Innes was, saying he mentioned Tom Wagner.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing people coming up. Oh, why hasn't he made? Do they want fucking Tom Wagner's medical records put out there or something? He ain't going to be back. This is the big worry. What's going to happen? He didn't mention Tom. He fucking
Did?
mentioned Tom, and he said
Did.
that he'll be back. But
Yeah.
it's not good enough, is it, for them? They have to pile in as if they've got a right to, let the bloke flipping get well.
Did you comment on that?
The only thing I commented on was a flipping thing in your group saying I've never been so fucked off with, it's spoiling that
Yeah.
whole thing about what are blues to you, but
Yeah.
I
I
shouldn't
just
get
go.
involved.
I had this
You know,
conversation with Tony Routley yesterday, and we were on the phone, and it's like after we've been around for 150 years, we've won two major trophies. Where is this right of fucking expectation that people have? I mean, are these all new supporters from the last couple of years? I don't really understand it because if they're like us, have been going down there for years and years and years and have stood with 8,000 in there, getting relegated into the old third division and with the Kumars in charge and the light bulbs not working and the roof blowing off the car. That's fucking difficult times and we still go. We're still
Yes.
blue supporters. But now it's like this entitled group of fans somewhere. I don't know why or how they think. I don't understand it because basically these people won't be happy unless we're promoted. And then next season, if we're in the bottom half of the table, if we were, it would be complaint after complaint after complaint. I felt strongly enough yesterday to drop Jeremy Dale an email and just tell him. I don't know if you've seen it, Pete. I'll put it in the group.
I
I'll
did, yes,
put
mate.
it in our moderation group. I didn't put it into the big group. And just to tell him basically, that we think he's done a fantastic job. It's been a great season. Thank you very much. And don't take any notice of the idiots that are currently on the club's social media calling him all sorts of, well, it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but do you see that, I mean, when you've had time to take stock of it and all of the first thing I did, I said, well, it's my fault. I've looked at it and I shouldn't. Uh,
Well,
is that,
it's a bit of a crazy way to look at it, that is, it's like saying, I was murdered, but it's my fault because I was in the wrong place. It's not, I mean, social media is there to be read and there should be some control over it. To be honest with you, the Blues' own official Facebook page is probably one of the worst ones, probably the worst one out of all of them for slagging the team off. I mean, on that
yeah,
site, there's betting sites, there's pornography, there's all sorts of slander about the players and families. And like you said, Pete, when you see it brings the humanity home, and it was nice actually, because I don't know if you've seen, well, you wouldn't have seen it, you were there. Like there's a shot of the players coming out, standing in the tunnel, waiting to come out. And uh, Chris Clara had got his newborn baby there, like about 3 months old, that baby in his arms, and they're all in the, and then Pate comes from behind, and starts giving it a bit of hello, and all that business. You think, they're just bloody people. They're just going out and earning a job. It's no one's fault that they're really good at football and they earn so much money. Who wouldn't be doing that if you could do it? But don't slander them and the people, Pete, like you say.
I
yeah,
was
but
looking at Pete. I'm with you with the
the-
social media, and I've told this group when we lose, I never ever ever look at the social media on a Saturday night. We won yesterday, so I thought I'll just have a quick look on Facebook and go through the various sites because it'll all be positive, won't it? And
Well,
then one of the first things that came up was, you call that a lap of honour? And you're like, hold on a minute. They were out there with the kids enjoying themselves. And then, like you say, Chris Davis was on his own. Why was Chris Davis on his own? He wasn't on his own. He was with his wife and his kids. They were just out there giving the kids a good time because they're family. They're normal people.
something that I did take from that one of those posts about them not being there was a lot of kids in Arthur's area, like with little signs and stuff,
That,
waiting for the players to go over. And they didn't actually go over to the Arthur's
yeah,
area where all the kids
that
are.
was that was probably not good. But that
the other side of it, though, Steve, is, I mean, the we are the silent majority who who don't, but the loud minority, because you're reading these things, and once you've read something and it's still there, and you can go back to looking at it, it seems worse than what it actually is. That this, it's not like there's 30,000 Blues fans who are anti.
You're absolutely
Hello.
right there. Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like there's 30,000 people calling Chris Davis a God knows what,
yeah,
and
yeah.
no. It's just a few.
It's usually
And in that,
the same offenders, and like there might be 10 in one group, 10 in another. But what we do is we remove the 10 in our group. The 10 in the other group stay there every week. That's the thing. That's the difference.
yeah,
So you have to
absolutely.
try and remove those
and
people if you can.
if you look at the entitled few, um, like you say, when we got relegated, if the Chinese were still involved, we could have got relegated again. We didn't. We bounced back up, and we could finish ninth. Now, if we'd have got relegated again, can you imagine being? And I'll use this as an example because it was a classic game yesterday. York or Rotherham. Look how
You'll
they
down.
just fell away and fell away.
You'll
One of
have
them's
to.
gone up, and the other one's got to go in the playoffs.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. But as I've said before, we Blues aren't we? We're used to that sort of stuff. It shouldn't be something that comes as a surprise to us when we don't win or don't get promoted. I mean, it's our best season for 10 years, I think, something like that. So, instead of celebrating it, everyone's on a real downer about it. If we could go to Portsmouth next week and get a result, that would be an absolutely marvellous finish to the season, wouldn't it? And the players can go away and we can watch the World Cup, and let's hope everything develops nicely into next season. I think this team can do well next season with a few additions. Now, I did see there's a lot of speculation about, what's going to happen. One of the things that people are talking about is the purchase of Osman. Uh, Now, is it possible? I think you took looking at probably 12 to 13 million. I mean, if we can do it, is it worth doing it?
I'd say 100%. But the other thing that you've got to look at is with Brighton getting into Europe as well,
Mm.
which looks like that they've got a good chance of finishing, in sixth place and getting in the Europa League and everything. They're going to have to need a big squad, aren't they?
Mm.
And would the likes of, I mean, in an ideal world, I'd love them to say, oh, okay, go back to, we'll let you have him for another year on loan or whatever, and then we'll
The perfect thing. Yeah.
there. I think to actually put all your eggs in one basket and pay that sort of money for him might not be
Yeah.
a
Well,
doable thing.
yeah, and we're looking at that like obviously there's a lot more. There are a lot more factors involved in that. Number one, like you said, do Brighton want him to go anywhere? Number two, does he want to go anywhere? Number three, there's going to be offers from elsewhere. It ain't going to be just us people who watched him play. They know he's on loan. Are there going to be some Premier League clubs that look at him? Will he get his head turned? Or, if Brighton said to him, listen, do you want to stay for another year? You're getting on all right there. You're playing well. And he's got he's sensible. Another year wouldn't hurt him, would he? He's only young. But we keep our fingers crossed because he is absolutely magical, isn't he? When he puts the afterburners on, he's frightening. I love the way he goes along the byline. It's like he goes
Yeah.
past players like they're not there on the goal line.
Yeah, the nice thing as well is though that we do seem to have a good relationship with Brighton, don't we?
Oh,
Uh,
we've had three players this season, haven't we?
yeah, exactly. So, you know, obviously the cashing thing didn't work out, but they would know that he would be getting game time with us, and like I say, there are a lot of moving parts, but I don't think that we should be, if we've got a budget of say £15 million for next year. I'm just making that figure up because I don't
Yeah.
fucking know. Um, to spend, 13 million of it on one player, I don't know.
I did hear Chris Davis say a few weeks ago, and I think this would be a really good way to do it, will be to bring six in and take six out. So, in other words, there's probably six players that we have that we're not using that are demanding a fair bit of money off us. And you can't just get rid of players if they've got contracts and they want to stay, they stay. They haven't got to go anywhere unless you buy the contract. So, you got players probably like Kyogo, who's probably on big money, I think. Kanya probably is as well, and he hasn't even kicked a ball, has he? Um, we've been paying money for our loan for Tommy Doyle. Uh, Ducks, what are they going to do with him? I think they could, if they wanted to, terminate his contract, which would save them a lot of money if they wanted to do that. I'm not suggesting they would do it. Um, so there's quite a few players, I think, in that squad that could save us quite a bit of money. I don't know where Pete's gone. So, there are players that can save us money if we decide to sell them and use that savings to bring players in. So you wouldn't have to generate a lot of additional money.
That's the problem, though, Steve, isn't it? Is that the likes of Buchanan and Kyogo, is anybody going to want to buy them?
Well, that's the problem, and I don't know necessarily even about buying them. I think it's also a case of getting the wages off the bill. So it's not, you know, I mean, you don't have to be necessarily like making a purchase or
Just
selling
loan them
to
out.
someone. Yeah,
Just loan them out.
you can loan them or just let them walk away. You know, so if you want to take him, you can take him. Here's his contract. Just all you got to do is take him off our hands and pay his wages, because we don't know what's happened to any of those or how much money we pay for any of those players. Um, People speculate, but no one really knows. So if you look at a club's accounts, they don't actually, even the accounts don't individualize players' earnings. All of the earnings or wages go in one block for players. That's it. And then what people do, or what a lot of the like websites do, and the people that put these you know, so and so's on 50 grand a week, what they do is they go through the playing staff, look at the money, that the total wages, and then look at what they think each player would probably get to make that total. And then they go, oh, you know, Stansfield's on 50 grand a week, when it might not be that at all. It might be someone who you know, you wouldn't probably haven't paid much for, what we've paid more in wages. You know, so those sort of things.
Yeah.
Because no one really
I've,
knows.
no, I've just done it for my CIC, Steve. I've just sent, well, a month ago, I sent our stuff over to our accountants, and they've come back with their accountancy report. And the accountancy report is just an accountancy report. It doesn't show that I've earned so much out of it, Karen's earned so much out of it, the other directors have earned so. It just goes, bang,
Yeah.
there's a figure.
Yeah, I mean, that's it with all accounts. That's what it's like. And anyone can, like I said to someone the other day, you know, if you want to go on, go to company's house and just see Birmingham City's accounts, just go and have a look at them. They're visible. Anyone can go and look at them if you want.
Yeah.
You haven't got to ask questions on the site. The other thing I want to mention while we're talking, and you just mentioned the CICs there, is that I don't know if you've seen the thing that we're doing, the It's a Blues thing. You know, there's 9 of our small independent, well, not so small, independent groups that get together at Christmas and Easter and that. Well, what we do, we send in 200 people away for a day out at Barmouth in July the 26th. And that's like low income families with kids, probably that haven't been to seaside, haven't got a car, something like that. So if anyone's watching that and you're interested in it, just look out on the site, and soon there's going to be like a little application form with a questionnaire. You just fill it in, send it in, and then we let you know if you're lucky enough to go or not. We'd like everyone to go, but obviously I was absolutely inundated with people that wanted to go, and we've only got 200 spaces. I mean, saying only, it's a lot of people, but we'd like to do it for everyone, but we just, you know, finances don't allow it. We haven't got like a bottomless pit of money, and we rely a lot on people making donations. So if anyone wants to make a donation towards that, just go onto the site, look for Emma Palmer, and you can make a donation to Emma, and she'll look after it. But it's a good idea, isn't it?
So I think it's a brilliant idea. And I was looking at how to make a donation, and I saw that Emma had put up the bank account details and everything to how to do it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It
so
doesn't matter how much, you know, if you can only afford a five or a tenner.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
brilliant, because
twen-
you know, we're doing. There's quite a few things that you got to think about with that. Now, I don't really have that sort of mindset like Tony Routley. Tony does all the coaches, doesn't he? And that's so he's got his head around that sort of thing, and he's got that sort of thinking brain. And he's like, you know, well, what we could do as well is get some, you know, like some ice cream companies down there and tell them where we're going to be, and get them to bring 3 or 4 vans down to meet us and do this and do that. You know, it's really good, isn't it? You know, it's that kind of thinking that's going to make it a really good day, and stuff like picking people up from lots of different places, rather than, you know, if they ain't got a car or they ain't got bus fare to get into town, the coach will probably more or less go somewhere pretty close to where everyone lives, we hope, unless you live somewhere obscure like Angus does.
Cheers.
We can't pick you up from Brighton, Angus. I'm sorry, son.
Oh,
down to Brighton to take you back up to Barmouth.
I
How's
was
the weather
looking forward
there?
to that as well.
How's the weather there today? It looked absolutely brilliant in the UK yesterday.
Oh, it's lovely here, mate.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
It's
Nice
beautiful.
and sunny. It's not so warm yet, but yesterday, oh, it's absolutely fantastic.
What a great day for the last game of the season. And today, of course, don't forget the girls play at 2 p.m.
Is that on
Massive game
YouTube, Steve?
today. It's on
Tell
YouTube,
Karen
yeah. Yeah.
I should watch.
So you can look, it'll be on the WSL2 site, their own YouTube channel, or you can get it on the Blues. So that one today, if we do anything against Ipswich, we're promoted. I'm not sure if we win, if we're not champions, but we play Charlton next week. There's been a lot of ticket sales for today. And also if anyone wants to go to the last game at Charlton, there are free, not three, free coaches. So the club are laying on free transport for anyone that wants to go to the Charlton game. Tickets are only like a fiver or something, you know. I think it'd be absolutely brilliant. Take a load to the Valley, and because it looks like Charlton and us are the two teams that are going to be promoted into the WSL next season. But what a brilliant achievement for Amy Merricks. And there were people complaining at the end of last season about Amy, you know, get rid of her. She's had the opportunity to look at the players she's got, you know. And then this season she's really done the business, and I think we could be looking at the same sort of scenario with Chris Davis. I think. I don't know. I mean, for one, I hope he stays, and that if it's nothing else but to give the club a bit of stability, you know, a few seasons with the same manager. Teams that do well are usually teams that keep the same manager, and I think he's got. It'd be a lovely opportunity for him, for us, to get a bit of stability and move forward. But I don't know. You never know, do you? You can never tell in football. You
Well,
think,
he
well,
impressed me yesterday because he was on his monitor in the early stages of the match. And if I'll tweak that about because it wasn't working. But
yeah,
he's
he did,
working
yeah,
after that. I think he's on the ball. We need to keep him.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think,
that's that they actually mentioned that on the commentary. They said, "Oh, Chris Davis has just gone out of his technical area. He's had a quick look, and he's just made a slight." Yeah. So people that say he's got no plan B, he's got plans A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way
yeah,
through the game.
it is
He's calling.
frustrating.
He called Clara over and said, "I need you
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? I need you to all move up together.
It will
Don't
give him a
want to be
little
staying."
fire up the pitch. But I think he's one of his specialist things is opposition analysis, which is what he did for Spurs and Celtic and Leicester, you know, and he's good at that. And I think he understands the game really, really well. And a lot of people that don't really understand what Davis does slate him when really he's actually really, really good at it. But it was a good day. I think we had great result for us. And moving on to next Saturday, it's going to be a bit of fancy dress, I think, at Portsmouth.
Yeah, last game of
Uh,
the season for Wales is.
usual thing, isn't it? And be interesting to see who comes down next season. Looks like it's going to be Spurs or West Ham. Now it looks like it's going to be one of them two. I
Yeah,
personally hope Spurs come down. But I don't care if it's West Ham because I want both of them to come down, but they both aren't going to
yeah.
come down. So we just one of them. But and who's going to go up? I think the two up are going to be Ipswich and uh,
Middlesbrough.
Coventry, obviously. And then I think Middlesbrough are just going to miss out on that now. And just in the playoffs, wasn't it? You got. I mean, Southampton played really well yesterday, didn't they, against Man City?
Yes, I must.
I fancy Southampton, I do. But I would
Yeah,
like
I do
Middlesbrough.
because they're the team that's made the charge, aren't they? We always say there's a team that makes a charge for the last
Yeah,
sort of
tw-
eight,
20
ten
games,
games, and they're the
20
ones.
games unbeaten now. You know,
Yeah.
I would like
Oh,
Middlesbrough to do it just because of City. Born out the
You're
top
cracking
two.
up a bit, Steve.
Huh? Am I
You're
breaking
cracking
up?
up a bit.
yeah,
You
All
might.
right. Well, listen, I think we're going to. We haven't got a lot to talk about this week. Well, we have. We've talked about a lot, but no, we obviously last week we had the talk about Jeff Hall. That was really really good. I think today's little review is going to go down well. This Sunday one is always the busiest one of the week. And I know you probably think, what? There's only 3 of us on here, or 4, or 5, or 6. It's actually the people that watch it on YouTube. You know, we get a lot.
We got
Before we
no
go,
Clive today.
We got no
No,
what? No,
no Clive today.
Clive's not
no,
here, no.
I'm just going to say, before we go, what's the situation with Beadle? If he goes back next season, what are we doing about goalkeeper? We're going to need someone.
Yeah, I think we
Good
need to
one.
bring in someone who's got a bit of goalkeeping experience in the championship. You know, like a John Ruddy kind of goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think with Beadle, I like him. He's really good on his line. He's getting better every game. But sometimes he's just not big enough. And that sounds crazy because he's 6'7", but he hasn't got enough frame. You know, he'll get bigger as he gets older. You know, he's going to be putting muscle on, but sometimes he's just a little bit lightweight when he gets in the mix. You know, and that's not his fault. It's just a physical thing. But I think he's a really good keeper. And obviously, if we could keep him, then brilliant. But I got a funny feeling he's going to go back to Brighton. And I think we're going to be looking at not mature, but you know, it don't matter too much with the keeper, does it? You can have someone who's 30 and been in the championship for a few years and he's really good, safe pair of hands. It's all you want, really. You know, I mean, uh, and someone who can distribute the ball pretty well. I think. What do you reckon, Angus?
Yeah, that's what we need. That Liverpool third keeper, was it Ben Woodall?
Yeah.
He's okay if you get him, but I can't see us getting him on loan.
Well, you never know, do you? Let's wait and see. I mean, we'll have a look at what Chelsea's got, or
Yes.
Leicester, or our friends at Brighton. They might have another keeper that we can have who's a bit older. Because they got the keeper at Coventry. He's there, lad, isn't he? What's his name? Rushworth, is it? Anyway, he's a
Right.
yeah, the one that plays for the Coventry goalkeeper is a loanee from Brighton. So is
Yeah. So
Beadle. They've got a lot of very talented players out there.
we should
Good.
be okay.
Okay then, guys. Nice to have you both with us this morning. Like I say, it's been a bit quiet. No Clive. Pete. I think Pete's
His data's probably run out.
Don't
his
say it.
his data's run out again.
What, he's gone dogging again? There you go.
Seriously, Pete. Honestly, mate. But what can you do,
But good
guys?
luck to the girls today.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get it all sorted today and get ourselves into that WSL, eh?
Yes.
Guys,
Yeah.
thank you
So
so much. And everyone
things
else,
to.
thanks for watching us. And we'll be here next week again, as usual, won't we?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Look forward to it.
and we're going
Take
to do
care.
it all the way
Have a
through the
good
World
Sunday.
Cup as well.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, providing we're not up all night watching games. All right, guys, thanks very much. Up the Blues.
Yes.
Cheers,
Take
Steve.
See you
Hey, all right.
later.